Hey folks, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another one of our weekly Tower of God discussion videos. Today we're talking all about episode 3, but before we get into the video proper, I do, as always, want to give a big thank you to those of you who shared last week's video over on Twitter. At Matt87Eagle, at DarkfirePlayer4, at Anime4Me21, at Janime, at Deep Not That Deep, at Rishi Copade, at Sirius9752, at Kevin2675, at Bubbalubber, and at Isu Okami. Thanks so much for sharing last week's video over on Twitter, everybody, and if you too would like to have your name shouted out in next week's Tower of God video, then be sure to share this video around on the internet, and then tag me at JoJo Talks Too Much over on Twitter, and I will be sure to shout out the first handful of you in next week's video. Okay, so Tower of God episode 3. Where do I even begin? I'm already involved. I'm involved now. Like, this is one of those shows where I could just tell, like, if I wanted to hop off the train, now was the time, because now I'm hooked. Now I gotta know what happens. Especially after we learn a little bit more about my boy Kun, like, now I gotta know. Now I gotta know. And, I mean, we do get to know quite a bit about his backstory. It would seem as though he was sort of, like, tempted to the dark side of some kind, as though he were, like, sort of lured in by this other woman, a member of his family, I believe, which is a little bit squicky, but a member of his family, like, lured him in, and you hear them say, like, he was tricked by this woman, and his family was then cast out because of action she took. I was having trouble following it. I assume they're gonna elaborate on that more in a future episode or something like that, but basically whatever happened between him and this woman basically led to him and his family being exiled. And I think she became, like, one of the princesses. I don't super know. I'm a little bit vague on the details, but again, that's kind of how I like it. I don't need to know everything right up front. I just need to know that he was betrayed by a woman he trusted, a woman he perhaps loved, which, again, a little bit squicky since they establish it's his half-sister, which, like, I mean, it's anime, so I'm not surprised, but I am, like, disappointed. But, like, regardless, it was interesting to me that he has this revelation, or rather that we have this revelation about him just prior to the whole door lesson where they're trying to establish that Kun needs to learn how to trust again. And not so much just himself, not even so much the trusting other people, but also himself. Like, he needs to learn to trust his instincts again, to not have to wait for a clear-cut plan, to not have to wait to make sure that he's absolutely certain. Like, the tester even says, like, the world will not wait for your certainty. You need people who are willing to crack open any door that they see in front of them. And that is our boy. That is Rack. Like, Rack is like, I don't give a shit, this door, and just, like, kicks one open. And it turns out that was the test, to see if people wouldn't crack under the pressure, to see if they would open a door within the first 5 minutes. That was the test, which I find pretty interesting. I do want to know what was up with the big circle in the middle of the room, where they're like, what happens if we pick the wrong door? And this, like, circle opens up and everyone's like, oh my god. And then the circle closes and I'm like, what was that? What, do I even want to know? I probably don't want to know. It's probably gruesome. But I was like, what? What was that? What was it? Regardless, it was interesting. And I really like this new revelation on on our boy Kun's history and character, because it, to me, tells a story of somebody who's betrayed and learning to trust again. Like, that's a great that's a great character arc. You love to see it, and it feels very much like at play in that first test, where we see that he needs to, not only do they need Kun, but Kun needs them. Like, he needs to learn to trust Rack and Bam in the same way they need to learn, or rather in the same way that they are learning to rely on him. But of course, what I love the most out of this is the fact that ya boy once again had his new ship cemented. Kubam, as I will be referring to it. Kabam! Kabam! I love it. Kabam is the ship. I am all about it. Oh my god, it's so good. Like, I'm not even just messing with you. Like, the whole idea that, like, the tester says, like, those eyes look familiar, don't they? Basically saying, like, you should want to protect Bam because he's going through a similar situation that you went through. You should be there to protect him and make sure that things don't end up the same way. And Oh my God, I was like, oh, the ship is real. Like, he's like, I'm gonna protect you and all this. Like, he's thinking like, do I want to protect his eyes? And it's like, oh my God, he's gonna get lost in them eyes, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, like, it was lovely. I love it. I'm so on board. You know me, I'm a Fidanchi. We're here for it. We're here for the boys' love. We're here for it. We accept it. We embrace. And I can't wait to see Khun and Bam embrace. It's gonna be great. But speaking of wanting to protect Bam, I have to bring this up. And I'm wary to bring this up only because I do read the comments for like the first hour the video's up, and then I check the comments the next morning after. So if I bring this up, there's the potential that somebody in the comments is going to spoil it, or actually like think that I'm asking for a specific answer when I'm really just speculating and telling you guys where my thought process is. But I'm gonna go ahead and risk it anyway. So Rachel's here. Rachel's there. And this girl slaughtered what seems to be the like her entire squad of regulars and irregulars. She seemingly slaughtered all of them with her and her 2 other partners, because they're all working in groups of 3. So is Rachel like a murderer? Like, Rachel just outright killed those people? I understand that they're in a specific situation where it's kill or be killed to a certain extent. But they slaughtered all of them? They were slaughtering younglings? Slaughtering regulars and irregulars? That's messed up, man. And like, okay, Rachel, when we see her, is covered in blood, which I'm not going to show because YouTube's new guidelines say that I can't show that. So they show Rachel, maybe I can, I don't know, we'll see. So they show Rachel like just in this field of gore, and I'm thinking like, what in the high hell happened here? Then we see her very clearly hiding from Bam, and I mean very clearly hiding from Bam. And I'm concerned because, okay, like I remember seeing some people say like, ooh, Rachel, and I'm like, I wonder what that's supposed to mean. And then we get the whole backstory on Khun and how he trusted somebody and they betrayed his trust, and he thought he could rely on them, and how Bam's eyes are the same as his were. And I'm like, okay, is Rachel about to pull like some, like, is Rachel about to pull some fuckery on us? Because it seems that way. Like, it seems like she's about to do something nefarious. And I don't want to see my boy get hurt like that, man. But it seems as though Rachel's going to do so. Now listen, I don't know. I could be way off base, but just based on the way that they portrayed this scene, it seems as though Rachel is going to, especially like in this game, this crown game that they're playing, it seems as though Rachel is coming for Bam. I don't know if she's specifically gunning for him. I would doubt that. I think she's just gonna do her best to avoid him. I think her own selfish need to see her dream fulfilled, to see the stars in the sky, I think that she put that above Bam. That's what I'm gathering. That's what I'm guessing from what we've seen. I could be way off base. I could be speaking ill of a character who actually has good intentions. I don't know. I don't care. I'm pretty tempted to not read the comments on this one because, again, I really don't want to be spoiled. And speaking of being spoiled on stuff, the one thing I was not spoiled on was this next part coming up, the crown game. The crown game is essentially King of the Hill. It's just the way I'm surprised they didn't even call it King of the Hill, because it's basically what it is. One of the parties basically have to have one of their 3 members sit on the throne with the crown on, and the other 2 have to defend the king on the throne and stop anybody else from knocking the crown off of his head. And if you can outlast all the groups, then you're the winner. That's basically the rules. I'm summing it up. There's stuff that I'm leaving out, but that's basically what it is. So it's King of the Hill. And 2 groups immediately choose to vie for the throne. It's the one group with like the monk character and like the 2 random dudes with the monk. It's that group plus Shibisu, Hats, and Anak. I believe her name is Anak. I'm gonna call her Anak. Anak, Hats, and Shibisu are the other team that steps forward. We need team names in the comments. We need team names, but Hats, Shibisu, and Anak, whatever, Anak show up, and right away Shibisu's like, okay, this was stupid. Why do we want to be king first? That's a bad idea. But Anak basically says like, nah, don't worry about it, I got these 3. And Shibisu's like, cool, yeah, fine, you take those 3, we'll just hang back here. And Hats seems perfectly willing to let that happen. And since we know Hats is on a similar level to Anak during their fight, we know that he probably could have taken these 3 as well. And by taking these 3, I mean, oh my god, Anak brutalizes these 3 dudes. Even like pretty much all 3, like including the monk dude who doesn't get it as bad, but the one kid gets it bad, man. Like, Anak, relax, girl. Like, Jesus Christ. This like whip thing that she has. First of all, Rack is interested in it. Rack is like, that weapon is dope. I need that weapon. And he tries to get in, but they don't want more than 2 people vying for the throne at one time. So Anak basically just slaughters these 3 dudes. Just takes them to prom, drops them off, and doesn't even pay. Just shoutouts to Olin Rogers. But yeah, she straight up just destroys these 3. And I knew that she was strong based off the quick interaction she had with Hats. And I knew Hats was strong for the exact same reason. But I didn't think that she was able to decimate 3 other regulars like that. And the way that she cranks that one kid in the eyes, like, oh, in the eyes? Did it have to be the eyes? There's a lot of eye metaphor and visually people getting hit upside the eyes. It was brutal. Imagine taking a whip to the face. No thanks. But before I end the video, I do have one final thing I want to add. So, I have a very bad feeling about next week. I don't know why, but Shibisu was giving me mad death flags. Like like the way he was like, man, like seeing you gives me confidence, and like we're the 2 regular guys here, like we're the most normal looking guys here, like blah blah blah. I'm like, I don't know, like I don't know why that makes me nervous, but that makes me nervous. And if anything happens to Shibisu, I will cry next week. He is my favorite character, Tracksuit Boy, Tracksuit Squad. I don't want anything to happen to him, but just by the way that fans have talked about this series, saying like, bro, you don't even know, like it tells me like I feel like any character's up for grabs. And the fact that we have Rachel's squad involved in the mix and they slaughtered an entire group of characters, and the fact that I'm pretty sure death is on the table here, like you can kill the other members, I assume. I don't know, man. I'm worried. I'm real worried. We'll see what happens next week. I don't know. I have a feeling, I hope it's not Shibisu, but I have a feeling that we're gonna see somebody drop next week. I don't know who, but the death flags for Shibisu, they were subtle, but they were there, and I am very concerned. With that said, everybody, I'm gonna wrap up my thoughts here. Question of the day, what would you name the different teams? Like if you had to give the different teams a name, what would they be? I'm curious to hear them. Let me know in the comments below. And that's gonna do it for today's video, everybody. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, then by all means hitting that like button and leaving a comment down below is a great way to help out this channel, as it pleases the almighty YouTube algorithm. So if you choose to do so, kudos to you. And if you're feeling extra supportive today, you can go ahead and check out all the links in the description. One goes to my Twitter, another one is to our Discord server, another one to our merch store if you feel like grabbing yourself a mug, and of course, our Patreon page. And speaking of the Patreon page, I do want to give a big thank you to those of you in the T Squadron who support this channel month to month. Let's go ahead and do the Earl Grey shoutouts. Izevi, Andrew W, Branson C, Bria Rose, Calvin A, Crowbar of Irony, Daniel G, Digger the Fox, Dominic G, Emily, Ionos, Urza, Ginkotaku, Godzilla Fan, No For Nothing, Maria T, Marshall B, Mater, Mirth Mouser, Cell, Shadow Creative, Stephen G, Sakochi, The Suavest Orange, Tristan G, and Veridon. Thanks so much for your continued support over on Patreon, everybody, and if you too would like to join the T Squadron, then be sure to check out the first link in the description to check out our Patreon page. That is a huge way to support the channel. And again, be sure to check out the other stuff in the Discord as well. Go join our Discord. It is now public. You can all join. Everybody can hop in the Discord. Follow me on Twitter if you want me to ramble at you even more. And until next time, you stay classy, AnyTube, and wash your dang hands.